Hi, this is Biju Sharon. For my Aki 305 creative submission, I have chosen Commonwealth Bank of Australia, or otherwise known as CommBank. Before we start off with this case study, here's a little introduction into the Banking Royal Commission and a little information to the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Royal Commissions are organizations that were established to look into misconduct in different industries. Banking Royal Commission of Australia was established in 2017 after a traitor revealed the fraudulent acts that were going on behind the curtains in the largest bank of Australia. This bank was none other than CommBank. The government called for the Royal Commission so that the scams within the banking and financial sector could be investigated and rectified. Commonwealth Bank was established in 1911 under the Commonwealth Bank Act. It has been in business successfully for over a century and continues to thrive. The bank has grown through gaining the trust of its customers and also because of the many mergers and acquisitions that it has been a part of. Today, it's one of the big four banks of Australia. Well, now that that's out of the way, we can dive into what happened in CommBank and why they appeared before the Banking Royal Commission. Story time! It's 2013, and after a lot of investigation into the Hong Kong criminal ring in Australia, Yu Tung Kong, a Chinese woman, was arrested under the allegations of money laundering and possession of hard drugs. After being deceived by the original Hong Kong directors of the crime ring, Kong received 7.5 years in prison. Due to the commotion that had been stirred up, CommBank landed in the mud after it was revealed that it acted as a medium for the money laundering. Over a dozen convicts were taken into custody because of money laundering through CommBank. This caused a huge scandal to break out because CommBank stood as the largest bank of Australia in terms of assets. It all began in 2009 when CBA set up new systems of financial intelligence that allowed anyone to deposit cash without proper identification. It didn't take long for criminals to take advantage of this technology. Fast forward to 2017, Austrac alleged that CBA was involved in money laundering and terrorist financing, but CBA ignored the allegations and did not look into the matter until 3 years later in mid-2015. The bank further put the blame on computer systems that caused the situation to get so out of hand. Besides the evidence shown by Austrac, there was further evidence of another scandal in the Royal Commission's final report. Huggins submitted evidence of CBA frauds in the application for home loans. When applying for home loans, customers have the option to apply through brokers. These brokers often deceive the clients by asking them to sign minimum 4 home loan applications and pay up 3 out of those 4 applications within 6 months. When Huggins brought this evidence, CBA denied having direct contact with these brokers and thus passed the blame. That's the story of how the numerous scandals of CommBank began. After the first one, many more followed on in different departments. The home loan scam, credit card frauds, money laundering claims are just some examples. Who really is to be blamed and held responsible? Since the entire community are victims, the sole responsibility of these scandals should be taken by the individual managers of CBA Bank. They cannot be excused because the management was fully aware of the under-the-counter dealings. They simply chose to ignore Austrac when accused. This case gives insight into other systematic problems as well. The power of the rich to hide their illegal dealings is very evident. There was further evidence from Austrac that showed CBA's management involvement in covering up money laundering from the directors of the Hong Kong crime ring. This acted as the base for the accusation that stated that CBA supported terrorist financing. The remuneration granted to the brokers and employees of CBA were not made known to the public. Accredited brokers for home loans were paid enough to turn them against the customer. Now, instead of the agent of the customer, brokers turned into agent of the lender. Their sole objective changed from getting suitable home loans for their customers to getting many loan requests for the bank. Many customers were angry and unsatisfied. Legal behavior is the level of how much an organization abides by the government's laws. Ethical behavior, on the other hand, is not part of a rule book. It includes having a clear conscience and treating clients and shareholders with equal respect and integrity. When analyzing Combank, the ethical behavior seems to be lacking. The stakeholders of the bank were heavily impacted as the scandals broke out. Shareholders lost $8 billion because of the price of the shares dropped drastically. The shareholders, along with other stakeholders, play a vital role in the decisions made by the firm. Due to the priority given to the shareholders, the executive management often neglect the needs of the public to satisfy shareholders and keep up their reputation. This might be the reason why executives took the decision to cover up money laundering. Accountants and managers opted to find legal loopholes that would enable them to ignore ethics and proceed with money laundering acts. This is similar to what we learnt in our course. It is not sufficient if a company is legally upright. Ethical behavior is very important to avoid scandals and thereby losses. The accounting department of CBA needs to be analyzed to find the auditors who are responsible for the cover-up. We can analyze the behavior of the company in terms of objective practices and technical practices. The technical practice would be to prepare financial statements for their users. Technically, the company has not violated anything because they have rightfully fulfilled it. An objective practice is to fulfill specific goals in the course of the job. In the case of CBA Bank, their objectives was to make more money and increase shareholder value. This, however, was done illegally through money laundering and other cover-ups. The case is a wake-up call for all professional accountants to speak up and do the right thing. Making the right decision may be difficult because of outside pressure and threats of losing one's job. But as an auditor, it is far more important to be ethical and prevent losses in the long term. Focusing on only short-term objectives may not yield the same fruits as if when we focus on long-term goals. Regulators like APRA must take into account this case to ensure that banks do not provide the public with so much freedom. When other Big Four banks introduced financial intelligence systems, they capped deposits at $10,000. Since CBA was the only bank that allowed deposits of maximum $20,000, the criminals preferred them to make faster transactions. Enforcing uniformity among banks can avoid such preference and thereby avoid banking frauds. This case is important for me, particularly as a business student. As an aspiring financial executive, I could be playing a major role in the financial sector. This case has made me understand that it is important to be very detailed and specific in operations. Furthermore, it's also important in my career to overlook accountants and ensure that no fraudulent acts are taking place. This case is important and must be further analyzed in accounting education. It shows students that when we try to go overboard with marketing and lose sight of the long-term goals, there may be consequences. Furthermore, it is important to look for the repercussions that may follow every action or decision that is made in the workplace. This is exactly why it is crucial to examine this case in financial and accounting classes. Financial reporting must be done in an ethical manner, and providing the users of information with misleading and inaccurate information do have serious repercussions. Now that we have analyzed the case, we will focus on what Banking Royal Commission did to rule the case. Commissioner Hayne is the current ruling commissioner. According to his final report, he pointed out the many allegations made against Combank by Austrac. He further issued 76 recommendations that the bank must take into action immediately. Combank made a quick public response to the Royal Commission final report on their website. They promised to take the 76 recommendations seriously and claimed to have already started working on fixing up their issues. Although the reputation of the bank is tarnished, the efforts being taken by the bank to redeem themselves should be applauded. Combank has tried its best to compensate for the major losses to their stakeholders and be more transparent in their day-to-day business. In conclusion, the Combank scandal was harshly brought to light under the Banking Royal Commission. It was effectively handled by Commissioner Hayne, and the company is now working towards building back their reputation. This case also has an impact on the overall banking and financial sector. Now, other financial institutions are wary and ensure that all dealings are legal and ethical. Thank you so much for your time in watching my presentation. I really do hope you enjoyed it.